A very good morning, students. Today we will discuss ruby laser and helium neon laser. Before going to deal with these laser devices, first of all, we know what are the main components in the laser device. The block diagram of laser consists active medium, pumping, and optical cavity. These are the main three components of laser device. Active medium is nothing but proper material. It is in liquid or solid or any gas material. Pumping. The next component is pumping. It is external source of energy which is used to pump the atoms in the ground state to excited state. And another component, the main component in the laser device is optical cavity, which is used to amplify the output of the laser. We are already discussed what is active medium. Active medium means the proper material which consists atoms or ions or any molecule which is in liquid or gas or solid state. Pumping. Pumping means the external energy source. And the optical cavity. The optical cavity consists two mirrors. One is highly reflecting mirror, another one is partially reflecting mirror. Highly reflecting mirror means this mirror completely reflects what amount of light is incident on it. And the another one is partially reflecting mirror. That means which allows a fraction of incident energy through them and reflects more number of nothing but more amount of energy will gives back. This is the complete laser system. It consists external energy source and active medium and two reflecting mirrors. One is total, another one is partial reflecting mirror. This is the block diagram. Block diagram of laser device. The next one, this is also the components of laser system: active, pumping, and optical cavity. These are the types. First one is solid state laser. Solid state laser. Another one is liquid state laser. And third one is gaseous state laser. In our engineering syllabus, we have only two laser systems. The first one is Ruby laser system. Ruby laser system. And the second one is helium neon laser system. In this case, the Ruby laser is related to solid state laser and helium neon laser is related to gas laser. We will discuss one by one what is the principle behind the working on the Ruby laser and the helium neon laser. First of all, we discuss what are the active materials in the solid state lasers and the gaseous state laser. In the solid state laser, that means Ruby laser. Ruby laser. There are three main components: active medium, pumping material, and optical cavity. Active medium means it consists ruby crystal doped with chromium ions, and the pumping material is xenon flash lamp. Optical cavity consists two mirrors. One is 100% reflector, another one is 99% reflector. 99% reflector. These are the major components in the solid state laser. Introduction. A ruby laser is a solid state laser. A ruby laser is a solid state laser that uses a synthetic ruby crystal as its gain medium. That means active medium. It was the first type of laser invented. It was the first type of laser invented by the Theodore H. Ted Myman in the year 1960. It is the first type of laser invented by T.H. Myman at the year 1960. The ruby laser is used as pulsed laser. That means the output of laser device is not continuous. Not continuous. That's why this laser system is called pulsed type laser. And the output wavelength is the order of 6943 angstroms. In the nanometer, 694.3 nanometers. This is the complete introduction about ruby laser. This is the construction of ruby laser. Here in this figure, we have one ruby rod. This is ruby rod which has dimensions. The desired dimensions, and this ruby rod is placed inside a energy source which is in helical form. This is energy source which is in helical form, and the two ends of the energy source is connected to the power supply. This is complete diagram. The ruby rod having the diameter 5 to 10 millimeter. In the construction, the ruby laser having synthetic ruby rod, and also this ruby rod is doped with chromium oxide. The original ruby rod chemical formula is aluminum oxide. That means we are adding a chromium oxide to the aluminum oxide. In this case, some of the aluminum oxide crystal, some of the aluminum atoms have been replaced with chromium atoms. In this case, the ruby rod exhibit pink or red color due to this doping. And the chromium atoms which are already present in the ruby crystal absorbs only green and blue light which are coming from the external source. Here the ruby rod is in cylindrical shape. The end faces of this cylinder is polished and arrange two mirrors. One is completely, another one is partially reflecting mirror. A xenon flash lamp is rolled over ruby rod. We are already discussed in the diagram, which is in helical shape. And also it is used for pumping ions to excited state. This is the diagram. The working of ruby laser. Basically, the ruby laser is 3-level laser system. 3-level laser system. In this case, we consider the energy levels E3, E1, and E2 states. The E3 energy level is short-lived energy level, and E1 energy level is ground state, and E2 is metastable state. That means the metastable state having lifetime 10 power minus 5 to 10 power minus 3 seconds. The working principle of ruby laser is explained by using three energy levels E1, E2, and E3. Generally, the E3 energy level having two bands. One is blue band, another one is green band. Initially, the more number of chromium atoms are present at the ground state. On incidenting the external energy source, this is external energy source, which is coming from xenon flash lamp. On incidenting this energy on chromium atoms, which are already present in the E1 energy level, the chromium atom absorbs the energy from xenon lamp and gets excited to the energy level E3. The E3 energy level is short-lived. That means this energy level having lifetime 10 power minus 8 seconds. After this time duration, the excited chromium atoms are decays to E2 energy level. The excited chromium atoms are decays to E2 energy level. This transition E2 to E3 to E3 is non-radiational-less transition. Non-radiational less transition. That means there is no emission of photon. And this E2 energy level is metastable state. That means this energy level having lifetime 10 power minus 3 seconds. After 10 power minus 3 seconds, the chromium atoms which are present in E2 energy level are decreased to E1 energy level. The chromium atoms are decreased to E2 to E1 energy level by emission of photon having wavelength 6943 angstroms. This transition is spontaneous transition. Spontaneous transition. During this transition, we get one photon. This photon again stimulates the chromium atom which is present in the E2 energy level, then decays them to the E1 energy level and get two photons. These two photons having same wavelength, same frequency, and same energy. In this case, these two photons are in identical manner. And also in this process, we get 6943 angstrom wavelength laser beam. This is the complete working principle of Ruby laser. At the output, we get this wavelength, 6943 angstroms. This is the complete construction and working principle of Ruby laser. There are three transition, transition 1, transition 2, transition 3, and the final one is transition 4. The transition 1 is absorption. Transition 2 is radiationless transition. Transition 3 is spontaneous emission. Transition 4 is laser transition. Thus, the Ruby laser having 4 transitions. These 4 transitions gives the complete working principle in the Ruby laser. This is another energy level diagram. This is also another energy level diagrams in the Ruby laser. Advantages. The Ruby laser has large output power. The pumping efficiencies can be increased by cylindrical mirrors. This is another advantage, and it has line width. There are so many disadvantages of Ruby laser. The first one is the Ruby laser emits not continuous beam. That means the Ruby laser emitted, the light is emitted in pulses. And the another one is, here we have frequently cooling arrangement for reduce the heat. This is another disadvantage of Ruby laser. We have another disadvantage, the monochromaticity. The monochromaticity may be affected by crystalline imperfections, because we are used the solid material. What is that solid material? Ruby crystal. The crystal having so many imperfections, we already know Schottky and Frenkel defects. Due to these defects, the monochromaticity is affected. The another laser system is helium neon gas laser. helium and neon gas laser. The helium and neon gas laser is invented by A. Jawan in 1961. This is first type of gas laser, and the working principle of ruby laser having 4-level energies. That means the helium neon laser is a 4-level laser system. 4-level laser system. We already discussed the ruby laser is a 3-level laser system, and the output wavelength in helium neon laser is 632.8 nanometers or 6328 angstroms. The main advantage of helium neon gas laser is which produce continuous laser beam at the output. This is the advantage of helium neon gas laser. This laser having 3 components. The first one is active medium. Here we considered helium neon gas mixer in the ratio 10:1. For pumping process, we consider a electric discharge which emits accelerated electrons. Accelerated electrons. The optical cavity, basically the optical cavity having 2 mirrors. One is completely reflecting mirror, 100% reflecting mirror. Another one is partially reflecting mirror. Partially reflecting mirror. This is the construction diagram of helium and neon gas laser. In this construction, we have one cylindrical tube or cylindrical chamber. This cylindrical chamber having length 80 centimeter and the diameter 1 centimeter. These are the dimensions of this chamber. In this chamber, we are taking 2 gases, helium and neon gases in the ratio 10:1. The end faces of this chamber having 2 mirrors. One mirror is completely reflecting mirror, another one is partial reflecting mirror. And the chamber having 2 electrodes. These 2 electrodes are connected to DC power supply. This DC power supply continuously emits accelerated electrons towards the gas mixture. This is the construction of helium and neon gas laser. We already discussed in helium neon gas laser, the helium and neon gases are taken in the ratio 10:1. The 2 reflecting mirrors are fixed on either ends of discharge tube. In that, one is partially reflecting and the other one is completely or fully reflecting mirror. In helium neon laser, 80 centimeter length and 1 centimeter diameter discharge tube is generally used. The output power of these lasers depends on the length of the discharge tube. That means the output power of helium neon gas laser depends on the dimensions of the discharge tube and also the pressure of gas mixture. The working principle of Ruby laser is explained by using energy level diagram. In helium neon gas laser, we are having a mixture, helium and neon gases. In this case, we are focusing on helium energy levels and neon energy levels. In helium gas, we are taking three energy levels, F1, F2, and F3. F1 and F2 are metastable states. Initially, the helium atoms are at F1 state. By switching on the DC power supply, the accelerated electrons are incident on ground state helium atoms. Then they are collide with each other and also they transmit energy to the helium atoms and then excite them to the excited states F2 and F3. After that, we considered neon energy levels E1, E2, E3, E4, and E5 and E6. Initially, neon atoms are at ground state E1. And also the helium excited atoms having energy which is equal to the ground state energy of neon atoms. In this case, helium atoms are collide with the ground state neon atoms and excite them to the excited states E4 and E6. These E4 and E6 energy levels are also metastable states. Another neon atom is excited to E6 energy level and the another neon atom is also excited to E4 energy level by the collision with the helium atoms. Continuously, this process is achieved by the collision. In this case, the population inversion is achieved between the states E4 and E6. One of the neon atom is in E6 state is decays to E5 state by emitting a photon of an energy 3.39 micrometer. After that, a neon atom is present in E4 energy level is decays to E3 energy level by emitting a photon of wavelength 1.15 micrometer. And we considered another transition. A neon atom is present in E6 energy level is decays to E3 energy level by emitting a photon of wavelength 6328 angstroms. The first transition we considered E6 to E5, and the second transition is E4 to E3, and the final one is E6 to E3. Out of these three transitions, the final one emits a visible radiation. A visible radiation. That's why this wavelength is laser wavelength. And the emitted photon is completely reflected back and forth by the reflectors, completely reflects back and forth by the reflectors, and stimulates an excited neon atom and cause it to emit a fresh identical photon. That means this emitted photon again stimulates another neon atom which is present in the E6 energy level. This process occurs continuously and we get continuous wavelength at the output of helium and neon gas laser. This is the complete working principle of helium and neon gas laser.